presentation that you are about to see concerns the revolutionary climate that is at present being experienced at black schools throughout Southern Africa. The footage we are now going to show you was taken from a foreign media crew working in one of the black townships. Here one can clearly see how a group of black youths were used to set fire to a school building. The youths first trying to gain access to the school premises, realizing that the gate was locked. The quickest way was over the fence or possibly underneath. Moving around the school building and making sure that no one is around, the youth then decided to move to the first classroom. Not being able to gain access through the door by normal means, it was decided to start kicking it. With the door not wanting to budge, the schoolboy decided to gain access through the window. Here the camera is now clearly focused on the youth setting fire to a large amount of papers which were left scattered in this particular classroom. Already a substantial amount of fuel had been spread in the classroom, and all that this child had to do was spread the now burning cardboard. Here too it is clear how this entire operation had been set up by the foreign media, as one could constantly see how the youths were looking at the cameraman. The building now clearly ablaze, with thousands of rands of damage being caused to a rather new school building. Not content with the fact that the fire had already caused a substantial amount of damage, the youths were then asked to stone the panes of glass. Many of these youths in this particular township, it was a day of fun. This is the J. Mahlangu Secondary School, and here one can see the amount of damage that has been caused by stone-throwing youths. Inside the classroom, one of chaos, with desks turned upside down and window panes smashed. In some of the cases, the desks were ripped apart, and one could see that the chaos was the order of the day. The J. Kakana High School, also one of chaos and destruction. The Tsaku Tabu Secondary School, another scene of violence and mass destruction by stone-throwing youths. In this case, plastic chairs strewn outside, and in some cases one can see where fire had been used to burn books. The Valmanstal High School, also depicting a scene of chaos with a large number of window panes broken, and in some cases there was hardly a door left intact. Here we see the inscriptions on the wall, amongst others, Viva Mandela, Viva Sisulu. Here too it is clear that there is very little happening in the school's classroom. However, these schools are still operating, just like the Salisbury High School, where too a large amount of window panes were broken, and inside the classroom there was destruction and chaos. With the door still intact, the inscription in red paint, Viva Mandela. Here too, slogans depicting the struggle written on the walls with red paint. In this case, the Walter Sisulu Secondary School, a name that has been adopted by the pupils. Here too, names written all over the walls, and in some cases, classrooms completely destroyed by fire. Inside, chaos and destruction, with ceilings broken apart, doors kicked down and floors ripped up. In this case, the lavatory suffered a final blow, with desks strewn all over the schoolyard. Here we see the ANC camp boldly written on the wall with the hammer and sickle. Inside the classroom, the various posters of the movements and their messages, harsh and to the point. Helena Pasteur's was sentenced to 10 years imprisonment. Immediately after the judge left the court, Helena Pasteur's raised a clenched fist and shouted, "Amandla." The gallery responded, "Awethu." More of the posters with a harsh lettering, Botha. In this case, blacks of today hate apartheid. And here we see the inscription, Legransie added to Botha is equal to apartheid. A message clearly inscribed on a blackboard. Once again, COSAS and other prominent organizations written all over the walls and doors of the schools. Here we see some of the harsh conditions that black school teachers have to put up with. In this case, the message written on the top of the blackboard in order to try and disrupt the normal teaching operations. Here we see challenge apartheid and education. In some cases, there is an actual move to military hardware where we see the AK-47 and bazooka featuring rather prominently. The names of some of the detainees, in particular Mandela, Sisulu, Mbeki, to mention but a few. In the Eastern Cape, Peter Nachabaleng receiving rather prominence in this particular school. It was also clear to us how neat the various newspaper clippings were as they were placed on a pin-up board in this particular classroom, with prominence to Nachabaleng, Kusata, the UDF and Biko. Here the emphasis was on newspaper clippings and very little graffiti on the walls.